It is a Tuesday, 4th of April 2023. My name is Dennis Oringi. You're most welcome to the Nilecast on Westnile Television. Let's first have the headlines. In the headlines, Westnile Rural Electrification Company battles a power deficit as consumer demand rises in the region. Westnile leaders prepare to shower President Museveni with the development challenges of the region. And Karamoja locals turn to leaves not as anger strikes harder. As Westnile connection to the national grid gets at 80%, Westnile Rural Electrification Company has registered deficit in power supply at Nyagag. The power generating company is dazed by the demand for power in the region. Joseph Jirua reports.
Uganda's open and progressive refugee policy has made many humanitarian organizations and community-based organizations to come on board and undertake relevant responsibility in different sectors. And one of those notable organizations is the Global Rehabilitation and Transformation Response, a local community-based organization, a non-profitable and non-governmental organization that is aimed at transforming communities through providing service allied with a sustainable development goals to support the underprivileged individuals and groups irrespective of their age, race, nationality, political affiliation, socioeconomic status, or religious belief. 2 years ago, GRTR received funds worth $40,000, equivalent to 144 million Ugandan shillings, from Children's Right and Violence Prevention Fund to equip the youth between the age of 15 to 25 years of age with hands-on skill in different courses. Lugala Hilary is the technical advisor with GRTR.
At the moment, we have a project which is funded by Children's Rights and Violence Prevention Fund, targeting youth from the age of 15 to 25. And those youths are given skills, hands-on skills in tailoring and fashion design, and saloon and hairdressing, metal fabrication and welding. And today we are trying to showcase the success story of one of our beneficiaries, a youth which was trained by the company which we hired to train them. We have 13 of them, but among that, because of lack of the availability of this kind of project, metal fabrication and welding, they have all moved away from the settlement and they came to Arua, unable to be absorbed by the previous trainer. At the moment, they are earning from them, and their earnings is for them to go take them back to school, which is, I think, is one of the success stories, and where we are very happy of the project, that the project has supported the youth, and others have settled somewhere doing the different businesses in saloon, in hairdressing, and then we have those ones in tailoring. They already have their place, though we don't have the support for them to give them the tools. We only give them the skills, and we have not supported them with the tools. But now there are those who are able to be employed like this, like one of our colleagues here. Some of them are already employed in Arua. So I think with that, we thank Children's Rights and Violence Prevention Fund so much, and other donors also who have supported us in their hands-on skills. And with this, we give a lot of appreciation, and the refugees are very happy, and the hosts, because their children have been brought from a level that they could not do something for themselves, but now they're able to earn living through the skills that we have given. Now, my recommendation to our supporters or our donors, that at least when we have this kind of projects, we know giving skill is good, but also giving the tools for them to use their skills for. Because if you're not employed, if you have not get any placement where you will be supported, it's very hard, more especially like the saloon and hairdressing, the tailoring and fashion design, including even the metal fabrication and welding. So our appeal as GRTR to our donors outside there, that when we have this kind of projects, let us also look at the toolkit that we are able to give them to make sure that they put their skills given to them on use. It brings your attention that there are a lot of children, there are a lot of youth that needed to be supported in these skills so that they're able to establish and improve their livelihoods. Because most of our projects of livelihoods have really has impact at the moment. We thank our donors so much and those who have contributed this support. So that is my appeal to our donors and those who will be subsequently coming to support us in the similar projects too.
On entering into agreement with GRTR, Rutagwe Pepekale, an engineer and the manager of Ureka Service and Company Limited that has been entrusted to train some of the beneficiaries, says the beneficiaries have been coping up very fast and they are open to learning through working very hard, a reason why they have decided as a company to retain some of the beneficiaries.
We received 13 trainees from CBO called GRTR from Ofua. They are based in Ofua. But the number we received is both refugees and the host community in both Rhino camp and Robule camps. We trained them. After training them, they passed very well. Then we also maintained others. We have two, I distributed one in another workshop, which is near here in Zambia. Then it's called Richard. Then Isaac, we remained with him. And they are using the same money to pay their school fees. We are supported, could not support them, but the GRTR gave us some support to support them. We also helped them to train in order to get the experience and then help themselves in the future. Like Isaac is leaving maybe tomorrow, next tomorrow to go back to school. He has enough. He has already got the money which we have paid him to go and pay his own school fees. Then in holidays, they are still coming back to join us. With the help of the management of GRTR, Mr. Hira Rugara and Thomas, so we are able to have that number trained. We also train others like in compassion. So the number that comes, if we see someone is good and they have passed well, we maintain them if we have a demand of workers. So they have a chance to continue working with us and as well work outside. And we can still connect them to others, our partners, if they have the need of a number of the workers. By the way, we thank GRTR for what they are doing, because we could not identify it was GRTR, a CBO called GRTR to bring them. And we are looking forward for other trainees to come and join us and we move ahead.
Wanik Lara is the immediate supervisor of the beneficiaries, and she has encouraged the girl child to take up some of these trainings that are in most cases looked at by many as work for men. As she says, what men can do, women can do better.
For sure, this is a company that encourages both the boys and the girls. We've been training guys on welding skills. We do concrete works, not only for boys especially, but for girls too. I really want to tell the public that we trained some girls, that one of them has really excelled, and right now she might be somewhere really earning, that we trained here and she's really doing well. And we also encourage each and every girl that is outside there that is willing to come and join, those that have at least reached some level. We can really train them so that they will keep earning on their own ways, not to keep waiting from other people. The only advice I would tell them, they have to be innovative, they have to come up, they should not fear, they should not think this welding section is only for men. No, women can also do that.
Lubara Isaac, who is one of the beneficiaries who has been retained at the workshop, says with all the knowledge and skills he has attained, he is able to work hard to get some money to save us school fees, and he wishes such kind of interventions should be extended to some of the less privileged refugees so that they can have a meaningful and sustainable life, or even when they make it back to South Sudan.
I really thank GRTR who have brought us take training in a certain town called Arua. I'm here right now, and it is just a grace for GRTR to bring me here, because long ago I've been suffering a lot, and even I'm a student who is in school and there is no one who is helping me through my education. And during the time when COVID-19 fall, COVID-19 all over Uganda, and we are staying home. I really thank that also during that time I am not idle. In that time, Jera Tiara gave us that opportunity to come to get the skill of welding. So I really thank that organization, because that CBO, because they have really made my life to be changed. In that time, I really suffering in my education. There is no one who is who is helping me through my studies. And since I get that knowledge, since I get that skills, I can be able to get much more money that can push me through my education.
Uganda is one of the countries hosting the biggest number of refugees in the world, with an estimated 1.4 million refugees, with the majority from South Sudan and Democratic Republic of Congo.
All right, we do apologize for that technical glitch right there. And the story that has just ended, it is about the refugees and the host community youth being trained by civil society organizations and also the community-based organizations. And these particular refugees and the host communities were trained by Global Rehabilitation and Transformation Response that is implementing some projects in the settlements that we do have in Westnile sub-region. Let's get to the first story that we brought to you when we started the Nilecast. You have to know that as Westnile connection to the national grid gets at 80%, Westnile Rural Electrification Company has registered deficit in power supply at Nyagak. The power generating company is dazed by the demand for power in the region. Joseph Jurua reports on this story.
With connection to the national grid reaching 80% for Westnile to get connected to power, leaders from Arua City have called for patience to allow the technical people carry on the works. According to Kenneth Chigumba, Wenreko was licensed to generate only 3.5 megawatts of power, which is outstripped by the demand, hence government responding with the connection to the national grid. While Honorable Atima Jackson Libuti, the Central Division Member of Parliament, says there is steady progress in the connection to the national grid.
Our generation license permits us to generate 3.5 megawatts, which is at Nyagak hydropower zone. The reality or the truth of the matter is the demand in the region has outstripped the capacity of Nyagak. And because of that, government has to respond by bringing another source of supply to meet the deficit. Government has been tried with Electromax. It was around since 2019, but because challenges that most people now know, it's not been able to function as expected.
As members of parliament, we have presented the status of what we see. We have been in Karuma, we have been in Olweo, which was commissioned. We have been in Arua substation, we have been in Nebi substation. Karuma and Olweo are already commissioned. So there's some good progress. You know, we need to let the public know that the government has not abandoned the process of connecting the region to national grid. So work at the Moni substation is at 87%, at Nebi substation is at 83%. So this is where we are, and I think it's not so bad.
However, Chigumba says that the only permanent solution to the power problem of Westnile is the national grid only, while Bernard Atiku, the former IVE Member of Parliament, admits that the commissioning of Olio substation is good news to Westnile people.
I would say what is being looked at as the permanent solution is the real permanent national grid, which is coming in at high tension level, the one with the 132 kV supply voltage. At the two substations in Moni, Arua, and Tata in Nebi.
If government didn't have that will, Olweo will not be commissioned, because Olweo is the interconnection substation which connects Kole, Lira, Gulu, and Westnile. It has, commissioning that now tells you that the will is being, fulfilled. So what we are remaining with is having those people affected to be compensated. If the 35 towers which need to be erected are sorted out, that line from Olweo will just come. As I talk now, those engineers, the technical officers who are stringing, who are hanging the wires that bring power are idle. because 35 towers cannot be connected. So what we are not doing as leaders is to push that those areas be compensated and passage be allowed.
The commissioning of Oluyole is good. It's a good news in the sense that we can now rely on power from Karuma. Actually, already Karuma is energizing the substation in Oluyole. So even if there's no connection to the substation in Igulu, we can get power from Oluyole to Arua. That is the good news.
Atiku also raised with concerns the interconnection point between Muni substation and a water power plant that is not being planned for to be considered immediately to avoid more delays in the power distribution process.
We shall compile the report and ensure that this message reaches the ministry to answer that question of interconnection, because the 3 kilometers from Muni to water, they will have to compensate people. That line is going to pass through people's properties. So government chief value has to come in, value the affected people, and then pay them expressly within 2 months. Now that's why we expect the members of parliament also present. They have to carry this message to parliament and raise it as a matter of national importance that we need a supplementary budget to compensate people for this interconnection to be done.
It's definitely a critical area to close, because without it, even if you have the national grid, you still have literally just have functional substations, but there's no power for the people. Yeah.
The recent communications from the Ministry of Energy indicates that Westnile will get connected to the national grid power by June 2023. Joseph Chura, Westnile TV, Nilecast.
Thank you very much, Joseph Jura, for that report. Dear viewer, you are still watching Nilecast on Western Television. It is our news hour where we bring for you the news taking place right here in Western Sub-region and also in other regions that we have in our country, Uganda. More in our stories tonight. You have to know that Westnile leaders are set to present the development challenges of the region to His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, ahead of his April 11th to 13th visit in the region.
Various leaders in West Nile have held meetings to brainstorm on the issues they want President Museveni to address when he visits the sub-region this month. Top on the list is the poor state of roads, unreliable power supply and contradictions in the implementation of the parish reform in Wudu. The sub-region has for decades been faced with a poor road network linking the various districts and an insufficient power supply, which have affected development of the area. And now the leaders want the president, who is expected in the sub-region from April 11th to 13th, to urgently address these issues. The chairperson of West Nile Parliamentary Caucus, Lawrence B. Songa, says that the sub-region still lags behind in terms of roads and electricity access.
We check the status of Pakwach Bridge. That bridge needs serious rehabilitation. Actually, we need a new bridge there. But in the meantime, as we wait for the new bridge, we need to do something to rehabilitate that Pakwach Bridge. And along that line, we the people of West Nile are saying, should that bridge, because we are still receiving a lot of rain, if that bridge, if the water comes back and the place is again flooded, we want the West Nilers to get automatic entry and exit pass through the park.
The Western Sub-region, according to the 2023 Uganda National Road Authority report, has a road network of 16,917 kilometers. Of these 214 kilometers, 13% are paved roads. Songa said they want the road from Panyimur to Pakwach via Wadilai and Panjala to be treated as an oil, tourism or security road so that it is tarmacked like those in Bunyoro Sub-region.
The road from Pakwach to Panyimur is automatically connecting through the ferry to one sector. So that is an oil road. And the road is not stopping in Pakwach. We want the road from Panyimur to Pakwach, to Wadilai, to Rhino Camp, to Obongi, to Dufile, up to Panjala. That road should be treated as an oil road, but also economy, tourism and security road. But I'm happy also to report that the plan to work on that road is now at the concept stage. The concept is being developed to upgrade that road so that it can be treated.
Equally, Obongi County Member of Parliament Dr. George Boka Didi said there is also a need to prioritize construction of Laropi Bridge and associated roads, especially the route that connects them to many districts to promote farming.
Amongst the top priorities for Madisa region that we have already built a consensus on, number one is the Laropi Bridge and associated road networks. And these associated road networks are the road from Laropi through Moyo town to our border with South Sudan at Jale. The second strategic road that as Madisa region we have prioritized is the route that connects us to many districts, starting from Panyimur in Pakwach, through Pakwach town to Rhino Camp, Obongi and Dufile. The third is the road that comes from Arua through Kulipulinga to Obongi, Jumani and Elegu. And the third strategic issue that is Madisa region we have put a stop on agenda is the construction of a power substation for Madisa region. You remember there's a substation in Oloyo, there's a substation in Nebi, there's a substation for Arua, in Imoni, but there's no substation for Madisa region.
On the parish reform in Modu implementation, the woman member of Parliament Arua district, Paparu Lilian Obiale, says despite launching the PDM in the district, the beneficiaries are not accessing the money.
The PDM, he's so much into the PDM, he wants to see the progress of PDM. When he was addressing Parliament just 2 weeks ago, that was the thing he emphasized. For Arua district specifically, the Secretariat of PDM was here. We launched PDM. 422 farmers were given money in their accounts. But unfortunately, even up to today, I was talking to some of those who received the monies. They're saying yes, they got a message that the money was in their account, but the bank is saying they cannot withdraw this money because there are still some steps. So it's like individual accounts were opened, monies were wired from the SACCO account to the personal accounts, but this money is still not being used.
Meanwhile, the Central Division Member of Parliament Jackson Liatima says the coming of the President to the region will help to speed up on the process of the implementation of the parish development model.
I expect us to have keen interest in knowing how the pillars can support, the ministries can support the 7 pillars, and we can roll these 7 pillars to really have this, implemented by the people there. A lot of work has not been done. I know you will find a lot of challenges in West Nile region because people were not keen on doing their part. People did not participate in this. So his coming is going to correct most of these things because right now everybody is on his toes, and I appeal to all the technical officers, the chief administrative officers, the sub-county chiefs, and all the technical officers who are concerned to help the political wing, because for us, ours will be eyes on and hands off.
Since the parish development model was launched by the President of the Republic of Uganda last year in early February, the residents of Arua City have never seen money meant for parish development model. The residents are hopeful that the coming of the President next week will make them have access to the money. Dennis Oringi, West Nile Television, Nilecast.
To end our Nilecast this evening, the acute hunger and malnutrition that hit Karamoja sub-region recently has forced locals to resort to eating leaves and nuts harvested from wild trees. Several villages in Regan and Longoruru sub-counties in Kotido district where hundreds of people succumbed to hunger. Last year, women and children could be seen harvesting leaves and nuts from trees. Agnes Napeyok, a resident of Nakwalet village, says hunger is bound to hit harder this year following the late rains and the absence of men from the communities who spend most of their time watching over the animals. Dear viewer, with that story, we have come to the end of our Nilecast today, Tuesday, 4th of April 2023. My name is Dennis Oringi. If you have been able to miss part of the Nilecast Do not forget to catch me again tomorrow early in the morning for the program, The Kokoliriko Show, that comes away every Monday through Friday. And don't forget to catch me also in the evening for the Nilecast, as we shall be able to bring for you the stories as they happen in Western sub-region. My name is Dennis Oringi. Have the best of your evening and good night for those who will be going to rest. While for those who will be working, I wish you well in your work that you will be undertaking tonight.
Westnile TV.